Looks like we might be back at least. Unfortunately, it was a bit too busy moving crap around during the little downtime I had there. So I haven't really made any more. Didn't get to do a couple of extra off-screen kills with this guy, I guess, so I could say. Well, time for a fun game while I'm trying to get this. If you can see your total experience and how much you need to reach the next level. I need 92 right now. Where are you going? And now I need 67, so I got 25, I guess, for each time that I killed one of these guys. Oh god, somebody blasting something outside. Or did I imagine that? I don't know. It's one of those things where for some reason it seems so much louder, like a ringing in the background, that I can definitely ignore when. Oh, there it is, finally. Got the Serpent card. Now we are allowed to proceed. So we got the Serpent card, which is the second attribute card you can find in the game. And it gives you an Ice Whip, I believe. You can actually freeze the enemies and turn them into platforms, just like with the Ice Beam in Metroid. Don't know how long they stay frozen for, but you can in fact walk on them. And I guess you can refreeze them if you are so inclined. Doesn't look like it does quite as much damage as the regular whip, which I guess is a good thing, because you don't want to kill those enemies before you can freeze them. So let's save again now that we've accomplished that. And move on to the next part of the stuff I have here coming up. Which, if I'm going to follow my own stuff that I said. Guess it should be a matter of going over to the area where the mummies were before we got the servers and following along a little farther down that path, which we should be able to do now that we have the double jump at our disposal. I don't believe we want to go there though, we want to go a little higher up. So can we step on the dragon heads in this game? I guess we can. Well, we can, but we also take damage from it, but I guess we don't get knocked back at the very least. How much HP do I have? I have 180 at this level. Pretty sure that's quite a bit more than I had when I started out. Okay, we're going down, and well, I guess we could stop and save. We're so inclined. But then we are going down and to the left. And then we are going to continue going down in that direction, that general kind of pointer, I guess, as to what part of the map we want to access. And now we can kill the mobs in 2 hits, as opposed to 3. And the coffins also die in 3 hits. So there we go. Clear out this room, and now we can continue going up this way because of our astoundingly effective double jump. And then we end up in this place, which is kind of a big hub area that unites other parts of the game. And also check out this place, which is, one of the rooms that we reached at the very beginning. But here is the Abyss Stairway, and if you have sharp ears and a good memory, you might remember that this is another recurring Castlevania background music called The Sinking Old Sanctuary that debuted in Bloodlines, and then was remixed for Castlevania Legacy of Darkness, but this is probably my favorite version of it, since, there's a remix of it that actually adds more to it. I also got leather armor as the drop from the axe armors. There's gonna be a lot of armors in this game, by the way. I don't think we need the extra intelligence right now, let's just use the leather for the extra defense. Well, I guess the music keeps playing even if you go into the pause menu or the map menu. Well, just a map, I guess, not really a map menu. Okay, it looks like there might just be a breakable wall nearby. I don't know if it's gonna be here or... Oh, we can't go back up because it's too high up. So we'll have to go around, I guess. What about over here? I'm going to imagine that this empty square in the map here can be filled out. That's usually how that works. Oh god, slime. Slime that at least does die in one hit. Ah. So I'll just continue exploring here and see. Actually, let me take a quick time out to figure out exactly what I'm looking for as far as the cards. Venus slime will drop the Venus cards, and okay, so this room that I've just discovered actually is some or a room that I'm gonna have to be making use of, just like the room that I've discovered with the Earth theme at the entrance back at the other place, because as it happens, this area has a couple new DSS cards that I will require, and these are the two enemies that drop them. Strangely enough, I think the DSS cards in this game, the way they work is there's only one enemy in the entire game that drops each card, pretty much. Even though there are some items that are dropped by multiple enemies, like the cotton clothes. So at the beginning they were dropped by the zombies and by the mummies. I'm pretty sure potions are dropped by a few different enemies, but the DSS cards are unique drops. Well, not unique in the sense that there's only one instanced enemy in the whole game that drops them, and if you miss them you gotta start all over or anything. But in that, there's only one type of enemy, I guess, that drops them. Only one species of monster, I don't know what you would say. So we gotta make the time for farming and all that. That's actually a big part of this game if you want to find all the stuff. Or at least get enough stuff that you will not be... I don't know what the word is. You will not be overwhelmed at certain other points. I could just... I don't know. I could just kind of continue on and kill these enemies incidentally throughout the rest of the area, and I can't come back here if I haven't gotten the cards right then. That sounds like a good idea, doesn't it? Rather than just doing this over and over now. I am not known for having good ideas, however. Well, I guess I will listen to that for once. Alright, so I'm gonna remember that room. That's where the card grinding place is. But I guess I won't be making use of that just yet. Also, I forget is there anything over to the right, other than just that dead end, and apparently there is not, so... So now let's just continue going through this mythical stairway here, and figure out exactly what other secrets it holds. Well, there's an Iron Maiden here, as you can see. There's not really anything we can do to get past it at this time. So let us merely continue climbing here and see what we will discover. And let us not get caught by those floors that, you know, those little platforms that just crumble immediately if you step on them. Well, I guess they're supposed to be a little bit like the platforms in the classic Castlevanias that spin when you land on them. So you pretty much gotta jump away immediately after landing if you don't want to fall through. But of course, technically these platforms, even though they disappear completely, they have a much more forgiving, window of time that they give you to jump against once you've jumped on them. And there's another potion that, funnily enough, I don't think I'll be using a lot of healing items, even though pretty much by necessity all the items that you find are, I guess I would say, grindable. I did hesitate for a bit before I spoke. Grindable, and there is one other thing I was gonna... What other word could I add to that to express what I'm trying to express here? Grindable and non-missable, I guess. Well, missable in the sense of where if you lose it for whatever reason, you can never get it again. I don't think there's any items like that are like usable, since all of the usable items come from the enemies anyway, so... I guess technically maybe if you were to really stretch the definition of how this whole thing works, maybe you could consider the cards that, but it's not like you can lose the cards, so, to begin with, so it's kind of a moot point. Alright, we got another Iron Maiden here, who just keeps standing in the way and will not let us through. Okay. Look at that, the gremlins dropped the wristband also. Well, remember what I said about the slime on the axe armor, where I would just keep going through the area and just kind of keep encountering them normally, instead of just grinding them over and over. Oh, I made it to the audience room. I guess it's the upper part of the Great Stairway. Unless, hang on a minute. Is it counter separate? It is. Ah, damn it. Alright. Oh well, I can just go back for the... Just go back for the... The other cards next, which... Actually, I think I will now, because the thing is... The thing about that is that I did say... Encounter the enemies normally, which you can't really do with the slime. I don't think there's any other slimes that I saw in this part of the stairway that exist outside of that room. And there's only one other axe armor that's pretty much just walk past, so I think I pretty much exhausted the normal encounter place possibilities, so it's time to go back and, do the grind now. I really do want those cards, and I am not willing to. exist in a timeline where I do not obtain them. Might be a bit of an odd way to put it, but you know, basically what I do mean is I really do want all the cards that I can get as soon as I can get them, so time to get comfortable, I suppose. I don't think these are even that, I would say I don't think these are even that important to the grand scheme that I'm kind of got in mind for some specific card combinations, but still. Still want to get them because there's pretty much only a couple of cards that I am convinced that I'm not gonna get, and that's because of where you get them. Place that's just a little bit difficult to grind stuff in. Certainly not as simple as this. It sure is a nice day for everybody to not exist. But isn't it, you know, isn't every day that day really, just to a varying degrees? That's what I've come to realize. Just like these slimes and axe armors, you keep expecting them to give you something, but all you get is complete radio silence. And you just kind of sit around and keep doing stuff until eventually, maybe, just maybe, they yield, but I mean 99% of the time they do not. I forget if the luck stat like goes up with the level as well. I don't believe that it does. If only to try and ease the, you know, the monotony of doing this, which I, you know, fully admittedly bring upon myself, but still. If only you could get some kind of attachment for the whip that made it slice 4 times or 20 times a second, just like that other sword. That sure would be great. Unfortunately though, we must. Okay, let me see. Got 1002 points. Needed to level up, now I got my 160, so yes, the combination of the slime and the axe armor here give you 42 experience. So let me see, 42 is about 25 more runs of this before I level up, I think. That's a really good prospect. Even though I'm not even looking to level up, I'm just waiting for these things to... Also I got 180 luck, yes I do. See, I'm not even looking to level up, I'm just waiting for these things to drop their cards. But at least this will help me test my theory of whether or not the luck goes up along with your level. Because, you know, much like with every other game like this, there's some items that you can get to improve the drop rate of the enemy drop items, which again are the only items in this game. It's the only way you can get items in this game. But as you might imagine, at this point in the game we don't really have access to any of that, so gotta rely on the old hope something happens eventually method. You know, the time-tested method. Oops. Better check the... There we go. Another 10 or so times should do it. Oh shit. You know, for a moment there I forgot why I always kill the slime first. Oh, there we go. I got the Venus card from the slime. Which is kind of a shame, because if we had gotten the other card from the Axe Armor, it would have been so much easier to just grind the slime without having to touch the Axe Armor. But now we have to do it backwards, because of course it's like, you know, like the schedule I had made for the next semester, which I had prepared and all that. I had prepared with some good degree of interest and meticulousness, and then it's finally my turn to sign on my seminars and stuff for the semester, and I find out that a bunch of the ones that I thought I had picked had full attendance already, so I couldn't even, I had to rearrange all that very hastily. It's just like that. It's never quite gonna work out how you, well, at least we can now that we've leveled up. Okay. Our luck went up by 10 points. Clearly that's a great prospect, but looks like we can now kill the Axe Armor in 2 hits, so at least there's that, I guess. Oh Jesus, my nose is really sensitive today for some reason. It's really stuffy when I started the stream. I kinda try to fix it when the stream went down again because of my crappy internet that for some reason likes to die every so often now. Can't even imagine why that is. Didn't start having that problem until like a couple days ago pretty much. But apparently it's still doing it. So I guess I can't blame that on Twitch for once. How many? Okay, we're gonna do like another 30 or so. 30 or so runs before we level up again, which I'm not trying to power level or anything, but just trying to get these cards before anything else happens. And you know, I'm not trying to power level as my primary. You know what, why don't we try one of the cards that we already got? Got Venus. So we could take a look at the other cards that we've gotten. We got Serpent, which I failed to look at before. I think it's the Ice Elemental card. It's said to be a dragon swimming in the sea. It has the power of ice, yes. And there's Venus. Goddess of love and beauty. Has the potential of enhancement. So if we use Venus together with Salamander, for example, let me see. What does that do? How it creates some... Oh, I think that might actually raise her luck or something. Or, no, that raises her attack, that's what that does. I think Venus combined with something else does improve your luck, I'm not sure. So do we know what this does yet? We do not. What about Ice Whip? Alright, I already tried that. Well, let's keep Venus and Serpent active, I guess, until something happens. Venus and Serpent active, which is apparently actively draining our magic bar, even though there's not really anything noticeable that comes as a consequence of having it activated. So, you know, clearly this is a great project that I'm working on here. Did that reveal anything? Oh wait. I have boosted defense, is that it? I guess we need to get hit. Yeah, to notice that, what that does. And we got poisoned. Defense increases by 25%. Actually, there's a little trick you can do here. I think I'm gonna exploit that right now. There's a little glitch, just as there are, you know, these convenient little glitches that come with a lot of these Castlevania, Metroidvania games, as you will come to notice, that can be used to great advantage if you know how they work. This is one of them, but I need to look up a thing real quick, because So if we use Venus in combination with the card that I'm trying to get to drop here, we actually make it so that... Oh, hang on a minute. Let me wait for the... Let me go ahead and return to the save room for now, I think. Probably a good idea. And I will explain what I'm going to do next once I actually return from that. Have it? There's not, it is next door. Alright, let us be based in the very strangely shaped elliptical light of this thing, which I don't even know what it's supposed to be. And I don't even know if the people who drew it know what it's supposed to be either, but... Well, as long as it heals you, I suppose, and everything else. Alright, so here we go. So if you try to activate DSS cards, combination with a card that you do not have yet, there's no effect and it doesn't let you do it. However, if you activate something and then quickly go in the menu and change the card combination before that finishes activating, then you can activate a different combination instead that is or makes use of the cards that you do not have yet that you selected there. Which I believe I should have done. Yep. I do believe I've done it. And the combination between Venus and the card in the third position, which is Mandragora, which I'm trying to get as a drop from the fucking axe armor, is it increases your luck by 25%, I believe. You can see that in the... Yep, you can see that in the little luck stats meter there. So hopefully, you know, it helps this go by a little faster. As if I haven't already spent enough time here. There we go, get a little... Actually, I'm kind of curious now, like, if we go into the menu. There's no effect, but it should be having an effect, you know. Just curious if it would somehow mark the effect that that combination has, even though we don't have the cards for it yet. At least I hope this doesn't somehow override the... You know, the fact that I'm using a card that technically don't have yet doesn't override the fact that I'm trying to get that card to drop, and therefore I won't actually be able to get it to drop while I have this effect active. I sure hope it doesn't work like that. You know, I'd like to imagine it doesn't. I leveled up again. I would imagine that I'll be able to... As you can see, the amount of damage we're dealing to this slime is kind of increasing by a bizarrely large margin. So even now the discrepancy I was talking about is becoming steadily more and more visible. And if I'm not mistaken, soon enough we'll be able to kill the axe armors with one hit. Okay, we run out of magic, which means we run out of the card's effects. And we still don't have the card that I was searching for. That really kinda sucks, but... nothing but time, I guess. But you know that I just found out earlier that I thought this was gonna be my last week of break, but apparently they're doing renovations in my faculty building, so basically they're giving us 2 more weeks off for that reason. So there's gonna be even less time to get all this stuff done that we need to get done during the semester once it actually starts. Well, at least I get 2 other weeks off, I don't know. And funnily enough, the, you know, the little notice they put out on the website of the faculty says that only applies for, I don't know how you would say this in English, I guess. I guess the people that are undergraduates, get the time off the people who are like in postgraduate studies have their programs continued in an annex building that's also not very far from there. Got a lot of the extra week offs for you, now that you're gonna be royally screwed later on here, pretty much. And guess what? Because we started so much later, there's gonna be so much less time to do all the crap I need you to do now. But hey, at least you got this extra time off before that, isn't that great? Jesus Christ, is this guy really not gonna drop it? Really would like that card, thank you very much. Gonna fucking level up again. Before I get it. If I level up one more time, I'm gonna fucking turn on song requests again, I'm telling you. Because I don't really know what song requests for the, 2 people actually watching the stream, maybe 3 to use. Well, based on the schedule I managed to assemble, really don't know how these streams are gonna work once I actually go back. Because I'm gonna be busy, well, I don't know. Actually, I can check right now. I'm gonna be busy Mondays and Thursdays mostly, but I think I get out like in the relatively early afternoon. Yeah, on Mondays I get out at 4, and so do I on Thursdays, and then on Tuesdays I don't have to do anything all day in the morning, but I do have to do something at 5, from 5 to 7. And funnily enough, the day off that I have is Wednesday. Well, Wednesday and Friday, I guess. So I really don't know how I would continue, figure out at what times I would continue the streams for the marathon here. Cause, there's, I don't know. I guess I could do them on, Monday, Tuesday nights, or maybe Tuesday or Monday, Thursday nights, or maybe Tuesday, but it would have to be really late because I'll get off until 7. Maybe I could do it in the early morning, I don't know, early Tuesday morning, but might not be a good idea. Also, I will have to figure out how my sleep schedule is gonna work, because I actually have to get up quite a bit earlier than I typically do to get to class on the Monday and Thursday times. Earlier than I typically do, meaning earlier than midday in my case, which is terrible. How dare anybody try and make me open my eyes before the day star has gone past the apex in the sky. Also, hello, Zero. Oh jeez, I'm gonna level up again. You know what that means? I still don't have the fucking Mandragora card, which is what I'm trying to get us to drop from the Axe Armor here. And I leveled up. So, guess what? It's time to go to the Botula control panel thing and turn this thing on again. And I think that just... No, don't play your own thing, thank you very much. And yeah, for some reason just by opening that window, Botula automatically says the song requests are enabled, which, is true, but don't know why it does it just from the window. So, if you so desire, you may request a song now. Because I believe we're gonna be here a while longer than we already have. And, oh yeah, I should probably start the local recording just in case anything funny happens. in before I get it right now. Okay, I didn't. And if only I were able to kill the axe armor in one hit. What if I turn on... Hang on a minute. What if I turn on the... this thing? Will it let me kill the thing in one hit? No, not quite yet. Cumulative damage is not quite good enough. Yet. It's a song request. Should be. Exclamation mark song request and then the YouTube either URL or just the ID. Can I even mute the... I can't mute the thing, can I? Oh well, I have the... Oh goodness. Gotta do this with the sound mixer here. And if only there was an option to just play the music and... or mute the music and play the sound effects. Oh boy. Let's get aboard. You know, the train ride never ends. The train ride of trying to get the stupid drop that refuses to appear. How much HP does the axe armor even have, I wonder? Because it's like... it's probably like 50 or something. Royalty-free version. You know, I looked at my files from the streams that I don't really keep a lot of local ones anymore, but I looked at the local recording that I made for the part of the Symphony stream where I was, you know, doing this. But trying to get the other sword instead of this card. And apparently I kept doing that for about 10 minutes, but I'm pretty sure it's been longer than 10 minutes at this point while trying to get this thing. And I got poisoned. Oh well, I can get, you know, I can use my antidotes, of which I have 9 right now, because the freaking slime drops them. Alright, what if I... No, I don't want you to auto-play anything. You know what, I'll go ahead and, follow that up with a choice of my own here.
There's nobody home. There's nobody home. She's trying to free me. Bridget, you get that Bridget out here. You tell that Bridget to get out here now before I blow us all to hell.
I love this person is going to be any more receptive than, or any more receptive, it's susceptible to filters on the other one, but if it isn't, oh well.
What are you upset about?
Ow! You broken my toes! Uncle Frank! Uncle Frank! Listen to me, you pusillanimous cupcake. Are you insinuating that any alleged animosity between us is going to have a negative effect on your job performance?
My uncle wants me to help out now, so I'm going after that heartthrob bastard.
You know, I don't like your tone. If I were a dog, I'd bite you. Gee, you're a total somnambulant psycho. I don't have to put up with this.
If you'd said, yes, it is possible for the two of us to rise above our base instincts and get along,
I'd bite you. I'm going through a bit of a rough patch right now. Could you help me find my kids? You shut up, you wicked sprite. You're the spawn of the same devil as my ex-wife. This episode of Ambition is brought to you by the Skip-Filled Handy Group Online Negotiation Training.
The online negotiation train. I'm so glad that that's a thing that exists. Well, I keep turning this back on for now, but you know, some requests are still open if anyone wants to take advantage of that. Oh, there we go. Oh goodness. Well, I'm pretty sure this is gonna get muted if I don't constantly talk over it, so it sure is a good thing that I got the local recording turned on. You know what, let me lower the volume on that a little bit. As soon as I get a MIDI version, okay, I guess that'll work too. Well, typically the The thing you can do, I guess, if you're trying to have that not happen, is to play so much of it that it doesn't exceed 30 seconds, pretty much, but that would kind of defeat the purpose of, you know, having the song requests. Oh, finally, okay. Well, I just got the card, so I guess we can still have the MIDI version, but there we go, I got the Mandragora. I can leave this room now. So I'll still play it, but guess we don't need it as much anymore. Mandragora is represented as a humanoid with roots instead of feet. It has the power of plants. Well, let's have this, I guess we try and figure out what the DSS combinations with this card does. Luck increases by, oh hey, that has already been. Okay, so if you use the glitch to figure out what the attributes or the powers are before you get the cards, are automatically unlocked when you get the cards, I see. Oh boy, I feel the good old 90s entertainment PC game vibe that this song is giving me. Alright, let's save and let's actually continue on now. You're gonna need a few more of these, a few more cards from the next area. You know, the next area for which you're gonna be level 12, which I think might be just a little bit over leveled. Not might seem like much at first glance, but as I've been mentioning, levels are actually a big deal in this game. Even just 1 or 2 can make a big difference. So am I going the right way? Yes. If I keep climbing up here, I'll make it to the audience chamber, which is where I want to go. Yeah. Oh, there he goes. Of course, it's gonna want me to play some shit that I don't really know what it is. Next, so nope, that's when I put a stop to it. Okay, here we are in the next part of the game, which is the audience chamber, which is pretty much the same area but different. And there's the X. Hey, there's more axe armors over here. So where are we going next? Let me try and figure it out. If we go to the right here, we end up. Actually, I think if we go to the left there, we end up back at the very first room we saw in the game. Oh, hey, bits. Thanks for the bits, Red Bear, and hi. Well, the X-Armors can't turn around, that's kind of weird. Here it is, here's the room that we saw Dracula get resurrected in. And this door that kind of looks like a coffin lid is locked, and it's actually kind of close to the castle center here. So kind of as a throwback to Symphony, I guess. That's where the actual final boss encounter will take place eventually, but let's check out the Triumph hallway here, I guess. The clinking man who drops the prison garb. Prison garb, which is better for strength but not as good for defense, I don't know. I gotta abstain from changing my equipment right now. So I got skeleton and these things called will-o-wisps. You know, typically they are like these lights that show up above swamps, but they also show up in castle corridors, I guess. Also, this area right here, I think design-wise, I found a breakable wall. Design-wise, it's supposed to be a throwback to the entrance area from Symphony. And it's not really evident how far that goes just yet, but it will be at some point. I thought the will-o-wisps were just forest sprites. I don't know, I thought they're like... supposed to be like these lights that show up in certain places. Oh, here we go. You know, this part right here is pretty much supposed to be a throwback to the entrance hallway. The first hallway from Symphony. Kinda tries to recreate the same kind of sprites and images in the background and such. But of course it doesn't look quite as good because this is a technically inferior console and all that. And they will try to take so much from Symphony later on, let me tell you. Oh god, I got a fire armor. Okay, they do turn around. Fire armor, which might be a little bit strong for us right now, I don't know. Also got the cross, which... The cross is actually one of the better sub-weapons. I think I'll keep it in favor of the holy water in this game. And of course here's the... once again, the very first room that you get into when you enter the castle in Symphony. But a lot more 16-bit looking because Game Boy Advance. I want to get around to, you know, straight up lifting the sprites from Symphony just yet. They will do that when they go to the DS games. But in the meantime, they should try to work around that. So that's pretty much all of this area that we can explore right now. Oh. We want to get the golem card, I think, from... Actually, just a sec, let me check this. From the Eternal Corridor place, whatever it's called. The audience room. You get that from the electric skeleton. And you got the cockatrice from a different armor. And there is technically another card that I could get also, but I don't know if I'll get all of these. I don't know if I'll be able to keep up my fervency. I'm trying to get all the cards at the absolute earliest opportunity. Different elf quests, trying to get a whistle to round up the wisp at bases. You can help maintain and build buildings, that's why I'll order them. Alright, we got another breakable wall here, and Skeleton Soldier, who just... Yeah, grinding the cards from that room might have made me a little bit over-leveled for these next cards of game that I'll be going through right now, but I don't think that'll make such a big difference. As I mentioned, this game can be horribly difficult at times. It all depends on the circumstances. We can get up. I guess we need to... Well, we don't need to, but it makes sense to do that. Progress, since the other place we can go to from the big hallway outside is just way back to where we came from. There's nothing weird going on with the walls here, it looks like. What if I climb up here? There's doesn't look like I can very far. Ah. I don't know, I think if you look like, not even as far as mythology, but just as in the origin of what the will-o-wisps are supposed to be, they're like just bits of like marsh gas that get ignited and end up creating these lights that hover over water or marshes or such. You can also see them in like forests maybe, if there's a marsh nearby, and that's where you get the stories from people thinking that they're ghosties, but oh, here are some of the electric skeletons. I think are actually kind of painful to deal with right now, yep. So hi Alex. As you can see, we're doing Circle of the Moon right now. It's kind of getting into that awkward period in Metroidvania, if you would ask me, where it's after Symphony, which is sort of my favorites, but before Aria of Sorrow, which is pretty, for me the point where it stabilized, it kind of stabilized, I guess is what I would call it, and went back to being as good as Symphony, if not better. And I got that awkward period in between with this game and Harmony of Dissonance, which I would say are definitely the odd birds in that group. Oh boy. So I should be able to grind the electric skeleton here for another card, but it doesn't seem like it's pretty much the only electric skeleton that I've seen so far, and I don't really think that's such a good place, such a good spot to do that in. So what happens if I go up here next? Where do I end up? Oh, goodness, okay. Looks like there's a few more up here, but what I would really like to get is like one that's right next to a doorway. Choose who would pick this over Harmony. Yeah, I don't know. Harmony's weird. I would say this game is too, I don't think I really like either this or Harmony nearly as much as I like Aria. Well, at least, on the bright side of things, I think there have been a few rumors that the next stage of the beta for Bloodstained that they might be releasing to certain people might come in August. I forget where I heard that, but that's something that I heard not too long ago. Like, I know that there's a more kind of detailed demo of Bloodstained that takes place inside a castle that they released to a few people to play. But not quite to the majority of people who actually partook in a Kickstarter. So I would certainly be interested to see what the next development on that would be. No, I did not beat that boss yet. The only boss I've beaten so far is the server's boss. There we go, I should be able to get on this, and still kind of paranoidly searching for breakable floors, of which, well, there's one right there. I think, okay, there's an electric skeleton who can apparently attack me, even though... And there's an axe armor behind him, so I don't know. This might be a good place to grind the card. So let me see, let me go into the menu and turn on my luck boosting combo. Here we go. Which I can use legitimately now without making use of the bewitch. And see precisely how long it's gonna take me to, get through this. Oh shit. At this point I realize that I forgot to turn on the fucking local recording after I ended the part where I had the song requests turned on for the other part, so let me do that now. There. So, because I have the bitrate so high, let's see exactly how big that ended up being. 312 megabytes for 20 minutes. That's actually not as bad as I was expecting, but that's pretty much the reason why I don't really keep hard local backups of most of my stuff anymore. Because it's eaten through about, I don't know, about 70% of my... Well, not just it, but it and a bunch of other stuff have eaten through about 70% of my 3 terabyte hard drive that I have. Oh, I dropped the leather armor. Can you get more than 9 of each item in this? Yes, you can. Okay. Well, I mean, I've had this for, like, I got this computer and I had this hard drive specifically for it. I think it was in, like, October of 2015 was when I actually built it, so it's been about a year and a half since then. It'll be 2 years in October of this year. You know, at least I've gotten pretty good recently about keeping the being more conservative with the space that I have left, which, you know, isn't exactly little. It's like a few hundred gigabytes at least. Which I hope will last me quite a bit more, but there's 100%, I don't know. I don't think so. The thing is, in order to get 100%, what I guess I would have to do is get all the cards. Which, you know, you might imagine is what I'm trying to partially do here with trying to get a card from this guy, but the problem with that is that there's a couple of cards that you can only grind from the arena that you pretty much only access at the very end of the game. And I'm like, I didn't even manage to do that on my own time when I played this leisurely, so I don't know if I'll be getting those cards specifically, especially because there is the glitch that you can do to show off the effect of the cards without actually having them, so I think if it comes down to it, I'll just... I don't know, I mean, I could just use the... You know, I could use that glitch, just skip all this and just, you know, use the effects of the cards that these guys drop without actually collecting them, but I don't know, I feel compelled to do this at least for the ones that I can access reasonably well. You know what, if I run out of luck here, which is about, or not luck, but magic here, which is about to happen, I think I'll just go ahead and give up for now. Hey, I ran out of magic. You know what, let's just continue. I think I might just do that. You know, I don't want this to become the grindiest Castlevania yet. I mean, the only really grindy thing that I've done in any Castlevania so far is getting the Crisagrim in Symphony, which, you know, it only took like 12 minutes. Oh shit, okay. Well, that's not really a bad thing, but it surprised me, alright. Should probably try and reach a save room soon too, because as you can see, could use a little bit of a boost in health right about now. Okay. And once again, I'm a measly 1,000 points away from leveling up. Oh hey, it's the... Oh Christ. Okay, I thought... I'm pretty sure I just heard the sound of a car alarm starting up. So I thought I was gonna have to mute myself for a little bit so I could close the window, but... Well, note these enemies here. They're called brain floats, as you can see, and... You know, if you jump up, you might realize how they're arranged in a kind of conspicuously orderly pattern there. Almost as if you could... And they respawn if you move too far away, which, you know, is not really common for enemies in this, but what you can do with these guys is, which I'm trying to do right now and apparently completely failing to, is if you use either the ice whip, which I'm trying to do right now, there we go, or the stone whip, which you can get later to petrify, you can freeze these dudes and use them as platforms to reach higher places. Not really sure why you would want to do that right here, but I guess we're trying to find out. Oh god. Oh, that didn't quite work. And I just fell all the way down. Right, let's try that one more time. Funnily enough, Botula, there's a few different game modes in this game, like depending on what you name your character that you unlock as you complete the game with more characters, or more, not more characters, but more game mode types, I guess. You can choose to play as a mage who has more MP and has all the cards unlocked from the start, but has laughable stats in every other regard. You can also choose to play as a fighter who is the opposite. Pretty much no. You know what, I think I'm gonna go ahead and not bother with that quite yet. It's actually kind of a... actually becomes kind of a moot point, using the brain floats as platforms later on, because there's a lot of powers from and abilities from Symphony of the Night that you can get in this as well. I don't know if this one specifically, there's just one very particular one that I'm thinking of right now, but a lot of abilities from Symphony that you can get in a lot of the other Metroidvanias. And there is one that, you know, you might be able to take a guess what it is that pretty much makes the... pretty much makes... okay, we can jump back up here. Makes using enemies as platforms, you know, Metroid style, a little bit irrelevant. Kind of like the, you know, the space jump makes that irrelevant in Metroid after you get that. Oh goodness, also we find this, there we go. This is what the warp rooms look like in this game. They're just yellow doorways. Glowing yellow doorways, right, and there's like 5 of them. There's not a lot of them, just like in Symphony. So let me see, where am I trying to go? Well, I guess I'm gonna try to go the way that I didn't go before last time, which is down here. And really try to find out what was past this hallway, because I just wanted to see what was down the other way. And, you know, I did find out what was there, so now it's time to go exploring in a different direction. Oh, there's nothing here. Nothing that we can reach yet, at least, because you see those blocks. Those blocks are pretty much something that is an insurmountable obstacle at this point. And funnily enough, so are the boxes that you see in some of the rooms like that. But right now, let's see. Is there a reason why I wasn't able to go past the very first square? It was the same thing, wasn't it? Yeah, there's a block there. So let's go ahead and take the warp point back to where we were before we discover that these are a thing that exists. Let's see here. Keep going down and to the left, but there's another block, so no, we can't keep going down and to the left. Can't get ambushed by the, you know, the yellow skeletons here, though. That's something we can do. So if I'm not mistaken, there should be, well, here's an MP max up. Let's grab that, and apparently we can go through another one-way slidey passageway not very far from there. And by not very far, I mean on the other side that I was trying to fucking enunciate there, but My brain is not very good at that, as you might have noticed by now. Goodness, Devil Tower. Are very, very amused looking gargoyle heads that shoot little projectiles at you. And let me see, where do we go here? I think if we keep going left, we might actually... Well, I don't know if we can do it right now. I think if we try to keep going left here, I suspect we will reach a point where we pretty much won't be able to advance anymore. But here it is. It's not quite what I expected to find, but I did find it. No hidden breakable floors or anything. So let's go this way now and see what we can find here. Oh boy. More devil towers. What if we keep trying to go right? Because I think we have to go left for now to find the next boss. Well, see, that's an actual fleaman. I guess the other versions of these enemies that we saw before are called hoppers. But that one, that is a slightly recolored version. You know, I think this Castlevania is actually the king of enemy recolors in Castlevanias. You will see what I mean over the course of the game if you haven't started seeing that yet, because well, you see that I guess the fleamen are the first example here. There's some enemies that you find in the earlier parts of the castle called hoppers that are pretty much the same sprite but with like red pants instead of green. So they just make them green and bump up their stats a little bit, and now they're fleemen. And there's the clinking men too, that are like those kind of shambling zombies that you see in a few areas here. How they have like green pants as well. Something to keep in mind for later. Okay, leveled up again. I'm now level 14. Well, you can see too in the pause screen in the top left it says there, I am Vampire Killer, which is the default game mode. If you just input in any name, any random name that you want into the file, then you end up playing in this mode. But if you input in some of the other special names, then you can play as the other modes. There's like I mentioned Magician, Fighter, I think there's one called Archer also, where you attack with ranged stuff. I forget exactly how that works though, because, you know, the whip isn't exactly that far ranged. And there's one too called the Gambler, where you start with, it's kind of like luck mode in Symphony, where you start out with a lot of luck but all your other stats are terrible. So it's pretty much up to you to turn that around in your favor, but no, we're just gonna stick with the normal Vampire Killer mode here. There we go. Oh. Should be very, very close to the boss now, actually. Before we start climbing up there, let's go ahead and head down here, because I think for one thing it'll be easier to reach the end of where this is, and also I think if we go down this hallway, actually we will be able to find out, be able to run into this block, which is, I don't think it's quite the exact same block that we saw from the other side. I think there's actually two with a space in between. But it pretty much shows that we reached the other side of the room that we could have just gone through straight by going through that block. But we managed to find a workaround. Also, here's the save room, which is the closest one to the boss we've got coming up here, so let's make use of that. There we are. I'm pretty sure I want the cross for this, thank you very much. And there's the boss door, but we can keep going up here a little more if we want. Ah, okay. Keep going up there a little more and end up being, thrown off like that because of poor aiming and timing. There. I guess we can find whatever's over here as well. Oh, it's just this room again, but it's the only part of that room that we were not able to access before because it's behind a block. So we took a little bit of damage, but let's go ahead and face off with the boss here. Who could it possibly be? Oh, my bitrate is dying. Fuck. Does that mean that the stream's about to die, or is it somehow hanging on for dear life now?